Well, hello there, and welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Kelsey, and I'm an actor and voice actor living in Chicago. And today, I'm going to be reacting to Genshin Impact Review. My Money Is Gone Waifu Simulator by Max0r. I am ecstatic about this because I have a lot of friends who either love Genshin Impact, play Genshin Impact, draw Genshin Impact characters, are in Genshin Impact, and I've auditioned for Genshin Impact, and yet I know so little about it. So I'm so excited to see the wild ways in which Max0r introduces me officially to Genshin Impact. So let's roll. Let's go.
Genshin Impact is a game which has sucked away my soul and killed my dog. I began playing Genshin Impact because of all the cute women, then experienced apotheosis and philosophical enlightenment through the death of my own ego. I love Genshin Impact, but this game will have an impact on your social life, and even after you stop playing, you will not recover. To this day, it has left me in a perpetual state of sophisticated malding, and I recommend it for all the wrong reasons. In this game, you play as John Impact, an extra-dimensional being,
a classic character.
By Mega Blocks, and is forced to navigate Avatar: The Last Airbender for weeaboos. Powered by...
Isn't Avatar: The Last Airbender the regular version, just Avatar: The Last Airbender for weeaboos? It's what got me into anime when I was little, that and Pokemon. Come on now. Let's be real.
System in which characters electrocute, burn, and throw rocks at each other. One of those is much less cool, but it, like Australopithecus, was my primary source of damage. Now trapped in the land of gotcha hell, our protagonist must find a way to save our siblings by fighting geometry, the indigenous inhabitants of Twitter, space midgets, and the ice KGB. As well, we are here to explore, solve puzzles, play prop hunt, cook, get arrested.
Nothing's wrong with prop hunt or cooking. Both of those things are very fun.
For looking at Zhongling too much. Get
oh no, stop looking at her.
Emerge from prison a devout Buddhist. This video is going to be about my experience playing this interesting game and how to objectively have the most fun with it. It's a very bad sign when most people who play the game don't recommend it, but I do. Although I am slightly
they know the rabbit hole.
I don't recommend you take my opinion as fact, but as entertainment. So whether you're new to this strange, otherworldly Chinese software or a Genshin pro, please allow me to tell you the tale of how this left a Genshin impact into my frontal lobe.
Oh gosh.
Here's a fun tip that most Genshin players don't know. The age of consent is 18 years old. Let's begin with what's maximally important. Not the gameplay, not the story, nor anything you would typically associate with a video game. The single most important...
That's me getting out of bed this morning.
This game is rolling dice to gain attractive people and then parading them around like a child on TLC. I do not exaggerate when I say this is probably what attracted most people to this game.
Probably.
If you want an example, Lisa is a character who continually refers to herself as One-sama and sounds like she is at all times on the verge of sex. I received her after completing a quest.
Stop. On the verge of sex. That gets me.
That I would use Lisa exclusively to do rock climbing. That way, I could repeatedly hear her oddly enthusiastic moaning for the next 10 hours of gameplay. I literally installed this game after downloading 60 images of Ganyu, since the official lore of the game specifies that she killed a monster after being eaten by it because her ass was so big it blocked his trachea and suffocated his disease. However, there is a catch. I don't have Ganyu, and I never will. You have a random chance to get characters, and that chance isn't high. 5.1% to be exact. And that's getting anyone. So if you want a particular character, get fucked. You could have your very first role be a high-level DPS character that carries you through the game with chimpanzee martial arts. Or you could roll 3 useless small boys in a row and then desire death. It's a fucking guy. God damn it. And while I'm writing about bad things that could be deal breakers, the
what did Bennett do to you?
Very strong and has ring 0 permissions on your kernel. This means that it can read and write memory at any location in your computer without seg faulting. I, however, am not afraid, since if Xi Jinping does harvest my computer's data, all he will find is 50 pages of Waluigi hentai. It's your loss. And yes, it does turn off when the game isn't running. So this review is going to include a guide on how to have fun, because like real life, lusting after women causes suicidal depression impression. Step 1, play as optimally as you want. Do not try to min-max shit because RNGesus will snap your fucking neck. Do whatever is fun with whatever you have. In my case, I decided that I would roleplay as a violent misandrist and only play as women out of principle. Any men that I rolled would be locked at level 1 and made useful in the coal mines. It is simply not worth it for me to engage in combat if I cannot also yank it. The central point of the characters is that they are potential wives, and I am absolutely, definitely, 1000% secure in my masculinity. Playing the game optimally in this case would mean making the game boring and staring at man-ass, so fuck it. If, for instance, I had wanted a particular, legally questionable female to be my digital puppet, the chance of me receiving that would be 0.3%, which is where this image comes from. Take what you can get with the rolls.
$2,000.
Exercise patience and control, and you will have a lot more fun. I definitely have not sold.
He loves that clip of that dude in the hallway. Also, no game ever is getting 2,000 of my dollars. I'm sorry.
My house to get big-titted pirate mommy. But Max0r, I hear your thoughts. Why are you displaying a single image of a regular crab on my screen?
A regular crab.
And also, what is the world of Genshin Impact and why are we here? That is a great question, James. Because before we get into the exploration and the combat, we must first understand the context with which I run my beauty pageant. And like every game made by Asian people on my channel, the lore is some Hyperborean bullshit. So let's say rule number 2 of
what was that remix? I hate it.
Just like 90% of the player base.
Mountain Shaper the bird?
The world of Teyvat is ruled collectively by 7 gods who govern the 7 elements. Except the nature god, he's special. This came about because 2,800 years ago, there were like 80 gods or something. Then everything changed when the Fire Nation...
Everything changed when that happened.
Seals opened up in heaven, so literally every god fought over their power to the death. The result was the 7 gods of each element we see today, each ruling over their own nation and their...
Why is that dude's... Why? What is his deal? I want to know.
Their own fucked up ways. Every once in a while, these delusional bastards will just give random people superpowers, like how the electricity god just gave a girl with a mental disorder a talking bird. This also includes small children who could very possibly kill themselves for some reason. Now, the world you see in-game takes place in 2 nations, or 3 if you're from the future. The first is Mondstadt, a lawless, anarcho-capitalist commune in New Hampshire, which has no...
It's a Walmart. It's all it takes place. You like what you see? That's the Walmart of the future. Big fields. You have to battle people for your TP. These place names are becoming familiar to me again. I've heard them.
No formal governance of any kind. They instead rely institutionally on vigilante justice, including a hot Batman. As a result, an entire territory of their nation...
Sign me up.
It is completely overrun with wolves. No one has the systemic authority to stop people from exercising their rights and liberties to feed the wolves' babies. Also, there's the fucking dragon problem. Did I not mention the murderous dragon? Next, we have the nation of Liyue, an extremely rich and powerful country to the east. They have recently come into conflict with Mondstadt due to the Luhua Pool massacre of 69, as well as an aggressive foreign policy involving a 9-dashed line in the Sea of Clouds, headed by the Tian Shuan Ningguang of the Liyue Qixing. Those are all real names. Liyue exhibits an unprecedented level of prosperity and control, living happily under the watchful eye of the rock god, who periodically disguises himself to ensure that the populace is behaving well and upholding their state contracts, just in case.
Not the HD version of that guy.
Making video games, yet in my country we have a long history of shooting people. But who lives in Liyue and who lives in Where Is In? The answer is unfortunate. Populating this extensive world will be several factions of enemies with subgroups, elemental specializations, and fucking bullshit. The enemy variety of this game paints a picture of a post-apocalyptic nightmare world where raving bands of savages constantly destroy everything, locking humanity in a perpetual state of warfare with armies of bandits and the midget people. One of these groups is the Hilichurls, an intelligent race capable of empathy and complex thoughts, which is why they must be destroyed. These guys make the Gombe chimpanzee war look like a fucking joke, and at no
I will be Googling that later. What is that?
No point does anyone in the entire game even give a shred of sympathy for the Hilichurls, except for Elon Musk. They can be gorillas.
Elon, what are you doing here?
Complex machinery and have their own language. This makes it more fun to slaughter entire villages of them and steal their possessions.
They've got really cool designs. I love those designs. Stop putting the exquisite chest on the screen, Max0r.
Overall, I would rate them a genocide out of 10. Next are the country-sized hordes of organized bandits called the Treasure Hoarders. who are just regular guys forced to fight with shovels and Molotov cocktails.
Those are
just
dudes.
The good guys? It's fortunate that because they committed a crime, their lives are now forfeit. Abyss mages are very simple because they are one enemy with 2 reskins, who are also inhuman beings of the Dark Void who have sworn vengeance upon humanity itself. They also dwell almost entirely in fucking space. The Fatui of Snezhnaya are heavily armed diplomats seeking to dominate the world of Teyvat through subterfuge, and employing 9-foot-tall people with hammers is absolutely conducive to this goal, I promise. They are unique among Teyvat because they serve the interests of the Tsaritsa of Snezhnaya, also known as the god of ice. That's important because it's very weird that they primarily use electricity and fire. I guess the ice god is just fucking lazy. The Fatui are always up to no good, like stealing the wind god's power or like a bank heist. They're also really hot, so I'm not stopping them. Finally, we have the local wildlife of Teyvat, which is 90% slimes and 10%
it's a lot of slimes.
Fuckers. I spent most of the fight
Roly boys.
To do something.
Computer deactivate iguana.
That's really what the combat is all about.
That's so specific. That's so specific. What is that clip from? That's so specific.
Sometimes it's like, holy fuck, that is a whale. And other times
that's a
it's
big
like,
old whale.
I think that bush just fucking... Really, no matter what happens, you're in for an experience.
Cool.
Let's find out if that's bad or worse.
Part 3. Cool. How is that combat?
Shit Getting Intact is a game about flow, where to maximize their power, the player dynamically switches between their DPS character and everyone else. Rule number 3 of Genshin Impact. Pick one. Your typical team is comprised of your DPS baby, your heal support, your burst support, and moral support. Think of it like a train. You only need one engine and enough weight to kill Terry Davis. Now, like everything, characters have elemental alignments, which, depending on the enemy, can ruin the game. My wife Barbara could heal me, but in the process, must make everyone wet, which makes us a proverbial bathtub, which enemies will then catapult toasters into for massive damage. It's a fucking blast.
Wait a second. Did I see what I saw there?
Heal me, but in the process, must make everyone wet.
No.
Which makes us a proverbial bathtub, which enemies will then...
I thought I saw him insert something way less that and way more... That's a niche joke, but he didn't.
Catapult toasters into for massive damage. It's a fucking blast. You feel like a chemistry professor gone rogue, using the elements to his advantage and then blowing himself up in the process. Unless your DPS uses rocks, in which case, you know, just watch, I guess.
Throw rocks.
Everything is elements, and everyone has an elemental skill and alignment. Unless you're the nature god who has
what is up
no
with him?
Characters. Some are bad, and others are very bad. But many are completely game-changing, like how Beto's elemental skill adds a parry mechanic to the game, or how Ningguang invalidates all ranged enemies. The combat is definitely its strength, and is an experiment in how bad you can craft your psychotic dog water alchemy, and hopefully create a moving ball of destruction strong enough to kill God. To extend this concept, every character uses one of 5 unique weapon classes, such as Mongolian, Controller, the Waiting Game, Egg Catapults, and the Speed Demon. So be careful with who you choose and what weapons they— oh wait, no, it's random, get fucked. Now, this would all be excellent gameplay if it didn't sometimes amount to throwing 2 sponges at each other. Enemies scale to your level, and generally health is not hard to come by. So depending on your investment, some enemies could take minutes to kill. This all amounts to making a classic video game build, the tank, entirely useless. You don't need a tank because you will be switching to your DPS anyways, who is a tank against your will. Health is literally always a shackle and a curse. That is, of course, unless you're playing Barbara, whose healing scales—
he loves Barbara.
only off Barbara! Making her tankier than Tiana. Let's go over an example party to give you some idea of the insanity that we're working with. It is optimal in most of my combat scenarios to cause forest fires by throwing a spicy bear. Why? Well, it's obvious. My DPS Beto can parry anything, which includes the heat of fire, or Ningguang, who spawns a wall inside of enemies like it's Gary's mod. We just do it to piss them off. Did I also mention you can invite your insane Discord stalker to play?
There's a bread in this game.
The combat is fully functional.
Hello, Max.
I made a mistake, and this isn't even going into the complicated system by which you customize artifacts, upgrade your weapon, and level your character's talents, because that's boring. It can be made especially boring when you have to pick 30 mushrooms to do it, but you know, here we are. That leads me to my...
See, I love that. Give me a game where there's like combat and you know, I mean, it does seem like the combat can be long-winded, but give me a game where there's fun combat, but there's also like it does seem, not from this video, but from like hearing things from my friends, that this game is just like, there's a through line, but it's a lot of side quests and being outside and hoping you get a certain character. Listen, I could be down for that. I'll pick 30 mushrooms. Sure. Let me pick 30 mushrooms.
Next point, you're gonna have to explore for those mushrooms. And that sounds bad, but it's actually the best part. Get ready for some cross-country gaming because we literally have a lot of ground to cover. So rule number 4 of Genshin Impact is that if you see something, just go.
That's the best. I love that about Breath of the Wild. I love that about any game.
Identical to Breath of the Wild. Right down to the UI. This is an objectively correct assessment. It's just that the game doesn't give a shit, and neither should we. Breath of the Wild was so good that I wanted Breath of the Wild with more anime pussy. Because, god damn it, why did Nintendo make Zelda look like that? The amount of bandits and foreign soldiers in this game suddenly makes sense when you realize.
I did wonder when I saw that cutscene. I was like, why'd they put? Well, I know exactly why they put so much detail on her butt.
As it has the geography
I know why they did it, but I'm like,
it's quite the vertical place, but you're given the tools to navigate it, like your feet
oh
or
no,
your
10
sweat.
hours.
And there is quite a bit to see.
I want that mod.
For example, when I first installed the game, I didn't know that Leeway was in it. That's over half of the map. I was doing a quest that required a wild radish, so I naturally went to find it and accidentally discovered the entirety of Ming Dynasty China. At which point I was wrongfully assaulted after being mistaken for opium. This is one of those games where you start finding chests in the wild, and within 30 minutes are flying to a strange island with a man named Jeffrey. It's actually not that different to Skyrim, but this game makes Skyrim look like it's in Kansas. There is always something to do and always something to find. You would think that would get stale, but they just keep finding ways to turn on my neurons. There is a puzzle. I just wanted the chest. Which spans an entire region of the game where you have to climb 3 mountains. You can spend an afternoon doing that and it's viable. There is no direction that you can go that will not help you in some tangible way, and that's what's important about exploration. It's not just pretty, it's optimal. You see the shit right here. This activates my fucking almonds. Exploring this game trains your neurons to fire at the most basic of incentives, like a lab chimp. But seriously, if you aren't yet considering the game, just have fun exploring it, stop and smell the flowers, and accidentally find China over a vegetable. I found it eventually. It took 3 hours. Now, if the review had ended here, this would be a definite recommend because the game is free. It costs $0. It cannot yank your bank. Not that I would know. But I must warn you that there are some serious drawbacks besides the fucking Chinese surveillance state that you have to install, so it's time to give you the final tools and rules that you need to enjoy this game.
The pain.
Regula numerus quinque of Genshin Impact is just, please God, use the resin every day. So to explain that, you have to understand that this game works by mostly giving you what you want when you seek it out. Unless it's crit damage. So you don't end up mindlessly slogging for 10 hours a day for a single goddamn Warframe chassis. But there is a catch. When it comes to grinding, there is a clever way to make sure that you can't trivialize the entire game, which is that the game just stops you. You expend resin when you kill a boss, want money, want XP, want artifacts, want to live, want to see my daughter again, pretty much anything. And if you have no resin, well, better wait. God will collect his existence tax and you will fucking pay. Even if you live in Mondstadt, the IRS is an eternal fixture of the universe. And although it's nice to have fair guarantees for artifacts, it has the unique side effect of stopping the game from being played. You get 160 a day, and for reference, you spend 40 for boss loot, so good luck. And if
you get an allowance in this game.
If you thought that was bad, get ready for Rule 6, which is, you gotta do the daily quests. We Genshin players are always hard at work on the daily dopamine farms, putting in that grind so that we can have a 4-star object every 20 days. It really makes a man wonder why we bothered with making murder illegal in the first place. Thank you, Kane. This game can give you a lot if you decide to commit yourself to it. But if you don't, you will be scraping for crack crystals in a back alley, maybe make a YouTube video. That alone is probably enough to discourage most people. I thought I was going to be one of those people until I realized that I liked the game. Stockholm Syndrome is actually cool. And for our final rule, you don't want to play with English voices. Set it to literally any other language except English. Now, the voice work isn't horrendous, but it doesn't sound like the dialogue was actually written for English, and the translation is fucking hilarious.
Surprise. It wasn't originally written for English. That is what game translation be.
The wolves frighten him so badly that he's paralyzed with fear. We've looked
Listen, the translations are not the voice actor's fault.
Where?
He's not saying that. I'm taking it personally, as a voice actor.
and haven't seen any of the rules.
So do what I do and play in Japanese, then switch the game to Chinese whenever you're in Liyue for maximal immersion.
感受到盐的元素力了吗？
Dear Mr. Sheep, please send missiles to liberate my country from the yoke of capitalism. Now that you're armed with what you need, should you play the game? Only if you have self-control. It's not worth it to spend money on the game. I'm serious, and that's why you should give me your money so I can spend it responsibly. Remember,
yeah, give me your money to spend in
so
this game.
I would like to thank the kind Chinese billionaires and international arms dealers of the Max0r Patreon for funding my hopeless and deadly addictions. If you would like to help fund the videos corrupting America's youth in the name of Naxalite Maoism, you can head to the description to learn more. Thank you all for watching and waiting, and of course, your IP address has already been traced.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, now I actually don't know that much more about Genshin Impact after that video. I think I might have absorbed a ton through just like osmosis and my friends playing it. But wild to know some little details about like the combat apparently takes a super long time sometimes, and having a lot of health can be a problem. I also didn't know that you get like a daily allowance, which is kind of fun because like if it's a game that like there's an incentive to play every day for like reward situation stuff, then I think it's smart that like the resin, I think it was called resin, is like a limiter to how much you can play. They were like, we want people to play this game a lot, but we're not trying to destroy people's lives with it. If they want to spend money and destroy their own lives over this game, they can have at it. But we'll put in one single thing so that you don't destroy your life playing this game on our account. Anyway, it looks like a lot of fun. Will I ever play it? I don't know. It looks like something I would enjoy playing, but like I'm like, do I want to commit that amount of time in my life to something else when I'm just waiting for Breath of the Wild 2? But we'll see. And I hope I get to audition for it again. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more content like this, and I will see you next time.